Do you want to start the game again?
Welcome back to Mystical Everyday Heroes, or Meh, the Dungeons and Dragons podcast about people who are not mystical nor heroic, just everyday folks battling their darkest animal fears. Scary pants. Joining us today on this fun and beautiful snowy morning, oddly enough, even though it's springtime, is Stephie Patterson playing the underwater warrior, half-elf druid Misphi.
You.
Glug, glug.
Okay, so Misphi's fact is Misphi's job, well, she kind of volunteered mostly, back home was being an animal caretaker at their local Yorkwood farms. She would spend her day cleaning stalls, feeding, watering, grooming, and playing with the animals, and tending to any wounds. She would also speak with the animals to see if they were doing okay mentally.
Aww. Psychologist.
She raised and cared for horses, chickens, ducks, sheep, goats, cows, dogs, cats, and alpacas.
Alpacas.
What can't she
There are
do?
canonically alpacas in this universe.
I'm glad
I love
there
that.
are alpacas.
Yeah,
I
that
love
is
that.
incredible.
Are those the ones that spit?
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, they do spit,
Well,
but
llamas
they're
also-
But not
less
at Misphi.
likely.
Yeah, llama
Not
spit
at
Joe.
Misphi,
They're the cute fuzzy ones.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Well, the ones with like the hats almost. Like they have like a furry hat.
Yeah,
That's like part of their head.
You can make hats out of them.
Out of alpacas?
Oh, they're
fur?
fluff.
Oh, like you shave them, but you leave them alive. I'm just, I don't know why I'm picturing just like,
we're just gonna skin this.
Yeah.
just like,
Alpaca.
I'm just picturing like Daniel Boone wearing an alpaca hat. I
Yikes.
was like, history has changed.
I kinda want one.
An alpaca hat or a
I kinda
Daniel
want
Boone
an
hat?
Yeah.
Remember at
both.
Renfest, and they have that shop where they have alpaca stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. They make it out of their furs.
Wow, and they
It's
get
been a hot
to
minute
and they get
since
to
I've been to
live.
Belfast.
We don't. They get to live.
They get to
Everyone
live.
wins.
Yes.
I love
How
that.
beautiful is that?
They're naked and free, and they get to
Yep.
What
The
a
dream, right?
shaved.
Really?
Naked
Misphi
and
even
free.
had a fuzzy alpaca.
Is that your
hat.
dream? No.
That's
We're
Alfonso
finding out
coming out.
so
yeah.
much about Matt Rail today.
Yeah.
Love that.
Always.
So good to have you back.
It is
Yeah,
good to have
he's
you back.
back.
We missed you.
Double dad.
Oh, yeah.
Double dead.
Yes. We also have Jake Salisbury playing the sushi chef, Meryl
Ah.
Cheep.
Yeah.
That's all I got today.
That was a sad one.
That's from the Battling His Deepest Fears.
Sushi chef.
Cutting up fish.
Did you cut them up with your talent?
Served him rare.
No.
They were delicious.
All right.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, that was wild. We had quite an adventure last time, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Meryl's fun fact for the day is he's going to share with you all his favorite season.
Oh,
His favorite
Aw.
season, because I assume that there's seasons in this world.
Is it spring?
of course there are.
No.
Oh, because I figured he could be a spring chicken.
I always thought,
Not a that is so profoundly offensive to him. So it's a good thing we're not in character yet.
I'm
sorry.
just picturing it being like autumn because it's just like the typical white woman holiday, springtime, like just like
He
autumn.
has his latte and his
Like, I just
scarf
want-
and his vest,
I
and
just
he's
wanna,
ready.
yeah,
I mean,
a
he's already got
Top-Tart
the
and
soup.
pumpkin spice.
Christian girl fall. We're
Yeah.
ready. No, his favorite season is it's summer because the sky is blue and clear and he can fly for miles. Can't be spring because flying in the rain is not fun.
That's
Fair.
Soggy feathers, not a thing that Meryl likes. There are not hair dryers in this universe, so he has to air dry. And when everything is, he does not enjoy being damp because he doesn't like the water. He doesn't like fish.
Does
he does
Meryl
not,
smell like a wet dog when he's wet?
For sure.
Stan, for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah, I guess the Stan would know better than Meryl, so I'll.
Meryl probably thinks this is just like a musky cologne.
Yeah.
And Stan's like, you reek.
Yeah.
The scent of Birdman. Yeah.
Or maybe he
Reek.
smells like fish.
Bird.
Oh my God.
Fishy.
Yeah, he starts to take on that duck odor. It's just like,
Ew, duck odor is not.
Do ducks have an odor?
I'm assuming. Oh, see, Stabby knows.
never
Vet
even-
tech,
How do you
yeah.
know that ducks have an odor?
She's a vet tech.
Because my
She-
mom has ducks.
She's
Wow, and
probably
you
works
sniff-
with
do you
ducks
sniff
all the
them?
time.
Oh, definitely. Just right up.
Yeah. They're like, do you want to cuddle the ducks? She's like, no, give me my nostrils.
Yeah.
You know, I've
we
got-
snore
I wanna
from.
I have a couple
snort
friends
foam.
that had some ducks.
All right, we also have Kailyn Kroll playing the fast and the feetsiest halfling barbarian Stan Smallman.
BTS. That is my favorite made-up word that you've ever said. Stan's fact today is that he, when he was living back in his hometown, he used to hold comedy shows for the other folks in the area, but he's always been too scared to do it since because people usually make fun of how small he is, and that really gets him shortens his confidence, if you will. Oh. And so he hasn't pursued that since then, but it's a dream of his.
What was like one of his headlining jokes?
Well, that one usually involved flossing his teeth with his feet, and people really liked that. But that's because his typical audience are kind of nasty. So,
They probably like
not for everyone. Yeah. Big feet people.
Yeah.
Big feet people.
He knew his audience.
Right.
And he catered it really well.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't work with everyone.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he's a
Misphi would
acquired
laugh.
taste.
I'm not sure
Thank
that
you.
Alfonso would appreciate.
No, and that, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Different strokes for different folks or whatever.
Exactly.
We also have Matt Rail as the damsel in distress whose hair might be a mess, Ranger Alfonzo Windbreaker.
He's
Yeah.
He's back! And in trouble.
Oh.
We have to save him.
So Alfonso's fact today is that I'm going to explain some of the origins of his bow and why he has such a strong connection with it. In Aerith, where he's from, there is a ceremony when young teens, when they become like of age in Aerith, especially when they're royalty or nobility, they go through a whole ceremony where they like build their bow, and it takes a few years because they have to choose a tree, nurture the tree, then murderously cut down the tree, and then
Wow.
and then
Misphi, cover your ears.
right, I know. And then there's this whole process, like working with a specific, like the head woodworker to like make it, and then you make it like distinctly yours. Like,
Wow.
It's not just like a bow. You just go to the store, like, oh, it's time to buy a bow. Like, because Alfonso
I love
is nobility, his is accented in gold and green to represent where he's from. Yep.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Which tree did he fall in love with?
So there's a like garden within Aerith that the like nobility and royalty like have a specific like area that they go to like nurture trees. So it's from this special garden.
Wow.
We also have Matthew Boston as our sound producer and me, Brandy Boston, as the Empress of this fine podcast, among other things, doing the voice of human fighter TJ. Found justice. And Corey Patterson as our community manager, managing the community. Give a hug to Corey Patterson.
Air hug.
Also, Steffi's hubby.
Also, Stephie's hubby.
That's also an important detail.
That's nice that you claim
you
him. I
didn't
just keep
know.
saying husband Matt, and it's like he's all of our husbands, so this is good.
At this point, he
That'd be
is.
weird. He's my brother.
He's
Except
he's
you.
my brother,
Bruh.
husband. Yeah, it's okay. Jake has the dirty mic. He's entitled.
I am.
He's entitled.
I'm
He's
entitled
an
to talk
entitled
about
white man.
incest. I'm an entitled white man talking about incest on this podcast.
Oh man. So
Sometimes a BDSM podcast.
Occasionally.
last episode in Loreland, the heroes have been split, with many of them in the tower having just completed their final trial. Alfonso is still nowhere to be seen, while Meryl, Misphi, Stan, TJ, and Jilroy, their guide through the tower, faced the combat challenge where the heroes were facing their greatest fears. The tower transformed into a lake while the heroes floated on small islands above it. The first combat was a slimy giant frog, showing the first moment where Misphi didn't try to hug an animal combatant. After dispatching it by poking it in the eye to death, the tower created two kuatoas, or fish people. As Meryl saw this challenge designed to conquer his fears, the heroes struggled with fighting off the creatures with sticky shields and nets. Once defeated, the tower then origamied the fears of TJ and Stan together by creating an octopus made of darkness that Stan fears while wearing the strangest pants that TJ had ever seen. After many attacks and getting thrown in the water multiple times, the heroes finally killed the non-Euclid Pantsipus, as they called it.
Yeah.
Yes, the non-Euclid Pantsipus. Completing the final challenge ensured that Jilroy finally got a group through, and he would become a member of the High Council in the tower. With Jilroy on the High Council, even though the heroes can't invoke the tower, they can call on the tower whenever they need Jilroy and his knowledge, even if it takes a little bit to get there. with the final advice to focus on finding the four, the original adventuring party, to figure out how they defeated the entity that sent them to the tower in the first place. Jilroy dropped them off outside the magical barrier to Aerith, and the players became level 3. And that's where we are today.
Wow.
But did you know?
So sorry to interrupt, but did you know? I tried to tell you this before you did this, but did you know?
Aww.
Human cannonballs. That was so funny.
Jilroy. And Greta.
And Greta.
Cookies.
Cookies.
I forgot about her.
I can never forget about her. She's just like in me now.
Yep.
I am one
She's a
with
part
Greta.
of you.
I had the same response.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'll be brushing my teeth and I'm just like in my head, I'm just like, get the back. You have to get the back.
She's always with you.
Yeah, she's always with me now. She's like, good girl, get the molars.
Yeah, some characters just really stay with you.
Yeah, in the weirdest times. Yeah. Anyway,
Made up on the fly character, too.
I know.
One of the best.
Well, you gave her the name Greta, and I was just like, yes,
You're going to regret it.
it's time.
Ah.
So the first thing we do is we're going to cut over to Alfonso. So Alfonso, you have shaken out of your brainwave where you had been sucked through time and space and the world had gone completely topsy-turvy. And you land in a room. Kind of unfamiliar, kind of familiar, but it's got the same aura of something that you feel like you've been to before, but no distinct memory of it. And the floor is stone. You're sitting in a chair, kind of ornate and sturdy feeling. And as you look around, you hear a voice say, "Noble Windbreaker, welcome home." What do you do?
Guys, what happened? Where am I? Who are you?
So as you look up, you see that you are alone in this room with the exception of a woman. She is a wood elf, similar to yourself. And you notice that she is speaking in Elven to you. So she's not speaking in the common tongue. So she's speaking in Elven to you. She is tall, very slight, very proud looking, very shaped eyebrows, right? Her hair is blonde, similar to yours, but a bit darker. And it's brushed away from her face in a low bun. And give me a history check.
8 plus, so 11.
11. Okay. You recognize this woman as having been, you don't know her exact placement. You just know that she is part of Aerith. She is, so somehow you're either in Aerith or you are near Aerith or she's somehow come to you, but you recognize that she is part of the royal court of Aerith. That's about the extent of what you remember of this woman.
Can I talk to her?
Yeah.
Is she?
Yep, she's right in front of you.
Who are you? Tell me what happened. This is crazy.
Crazy.
Here's my number.
Nobleman Windbreaker, I am not surprised to see you here, though I am disappointed.
Why are you disappointed? I didn't choose to be back here.
You didn't choose to be back here. Do you realize where you would be had we not have sucked you out of that tower that you were intended for?
Well, I'd be with my friends, and I know that.
Friends. You think any people outside of Aerith could even constitute to become a friend of a nobleman of the House Windbreaker?
I do, actually.
I want this woman to read me a book. Sorry, I know we're not even here right now.
In my head, I just became Morgan Freeman.
I loved it. I want her
You want a deeper voice now?
to do a lullaby to me.
Can you narrate animal movies now for us?
100%. Regardless of what you think you may have as friends outside of Aerith, you have been gone for a long time, and you are very fortunate to be where you are right now because your fate could have been much worse without our interference.
Your interference. So you're the one responsible for removing me from my friends?
We are the ones responsible for removing you
You
from
and who
certain
else?
death. The rest of the noble party who knew where you were, Alfonso. And you recognize that she's calling you by your first name. That is a sign of pretty deep disrespect for your rank of nobility as royalty.
I demand that you let me go.
You demand. You demand.
I do.
Interesting. My understanding, Alfonso, is that you no longer hold any titles that warrant such demands. In fact, last I heard, you were somewhere in the High Gore Mountains on a diplomatic mission, which is, of course, what we have been telling the people of Aerith in your absence. So as far as anybody else knows, you're not here.
Can I roll for insight to see if she's telling me like the truth?
Yeah, roll for insight.
So 10.
Okay. With that 10 for insight, you recognize that she looks really confident in her words. You have no real reason to doubt them.
Okay. Am I restrained?
You are not restrained by your hands or your feet. So you're not locked to this chair.
Okay. I'm gonna get up and like point my finger at her and be like, tell me more about like, let me out.
Roll an intimidation check.
14.
Intimidate her with your hair.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, flip your hair
Yeah,
like
can I
Glinda.
Flip the hair.
Easy, breezy, beautiful.
So with a
Alfonso.
14,
Windbreaker.
as you come
Windbreaker.
closer to her, you recognize that she takes a little bit of a step back and she puts her chin a little bit higher as if she's trying to make herself like subconsciously a bit bigger. And she raises her eyebrows and says, let you out. Try to leave.
Is there a door? Oh, you see
There is a door. So what you see here, there are no windows.
Okay.
This is a fairly rounded room. It has stone floors, stone walls, almost like you're in a castle tower, but it has like fairly high ceilings. And there is one door made of wood that is like a curved door.
Well, I'm gonna go try to open the door.
Okay. So as you go toward the door and you like kind of march over there, roll a constitution check.
All right.
So a constitution saving throw, actually.
Oh, saving throw? Okay. So 4.
So with that, as you go up to this
Oh,
door,
okay.
about
Oh, it's one more.
about a foot before you get to the door, you hit this force field and you are thrown back, and you're going to take 1d4 falling damage.
Well, that.
So that is, you take 4 points damage.
Oh, do you? Oh, you
I
roll
do it. Mhm.
Oh.
4 points
okay.
of damage.
All right. Well, that didn't feel good.
And so as she sees you fly back, she chuckles. She's like, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
So I would like to draw my short sword and point at her again.
You, as you go to draw your short sword and you reach for where it would be, you recognize that it's gone.
Did you take my weapons from me? I reach for my bow.
Your bow is gone.
Whoa! No! Can I I'm like panicking, like running around, like looking for it. Can I like perception to find any clues about like?
Sure, roll a perception check.
17.
Well, actually, you're searching for where it would be, right?
Yeah. So that would be.
I'm
like,
going to say an investigation check.
Okay, so 18.
Okay, so you're actively searching for this. As you look around this rounded room, you recognize that she starts to slowly kind of inch her way, not toward the door, but like toward this little alcove almost that's kind of carved into the rock, almost like she's trying to hide it from your view. And she says, there's no use searching for any of your weapons. They belong to the House Windbreaker, of which you are no longer a part of since you have been disavowed of your royalty status.
I'd like to cast Detect Magic to see if I can like find if they're like the magic, like if they're like stored somewhere in the like.
Like magical?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me what that looks like as far as the stats and such.
So it says, for the duration, you sense the presence of magical effects within 30 feet of yourself. If you sense such effects, you can take the magic action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic. And if the effect is created by a spell, you learn the spell's school of magic. The spell is blocked by 1 foot of stone, dirt, or wood, or 1 inch of metal.
So, as you cast, just you from like the inside of you, you just search so hard for your weaponry that has become such a part of you, and just whoosh. As this magic races out from your hands and your feet and scans the area around you, you feel warmth and familiarity in the corner not the corner, but the little alcove kind of cutout that is behind her. And as you feel the essence of where your bow and your arrows and your weaponry, your sword has been hidden, you recognize that it's about a foot in this magic alcove, and there is magic covering it, and it is from the Illusion School of Magic.
Okay. I'd like to go over there and investigate to find more what I can do to get it.
So she's in the way of it. So
Oh,
how do you
so-
plan on doing that?
Can I go around her? Or
You would essentially have to move her out of the way.
I'd like to move her out of the way.
Okay. I'm going to give you the choice here. Would you like to do it as an attack or as just an opposed strength check?
Opposed strength stack. I don't want to attack her quite yet.
Okay.
I really like my weapons first.
Go ahead and roll a strength check.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Are you joking?
Stephie, look.
What?
Nat 20.
I see it too.
So
That's
at
crazy.
This
What's
point,
your modifier?
hold on. I've got to find her stats. Hang on.
What are the chances of that? Because I rolled a nat 20 and I was like, yes, I'm going to get my weapons.
That's wild.
That's crazy. Opposed nat 20s.
Dun, dun, dun.
Whatever will we do? I don't know why I picked that voice.
Mine's a +1. +3 for a saving throw.
Okay, so she has a +0 to strength.
All right. Does that mean I win?
That means you win. So it's a struggle.
Oh, by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah, no kidding.
You try to pick her up, and she goes a little bit bumless, like tries to do that like dead weight thing, and she, as you kind of struggle, she's like, "This is
Greta?
uncalled for. This is improper." And then you finally like move her out of the way, and she kind of pushes herself, straightens her jacket. Honestly, this is beneath you.
You said yourself, I'm no longer noble, so it doesn't matter.
Oh.
Fair enough. If this is the way that you choose to do things, I am interested to see what your parents think of this.
Let's go find out.
Oh no, mom and dad.
She's gonna call your mom.
Oh, she's gonna call your mom.
Just don't call dad.
And before she can even get to the door, you see, before I say this, you were able to move her. Do you want to take a brief action anywhere like with this illusion magic situation?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to do?
I'd like to. So am I able to like break the illusion? No. How does that work? Like,
I'll say that because you are aware of where it is, that the illusion becomes less solid to you. However, as you go to reach for it, are you going to reach for it?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to roll another Constitution check.
oh man.
Another Constitution saving throw.
18.
+1.
Yeah, 19.
Okay, so because you've already experienced the ward that is around the exterior of this room, kind of trapping you inside, you're able to just kind of feel along the edge of it without being affected. But you know that if you were to try to reach your hand fully in there, then you would be blown back
Okay.
until the magic itself is dispelled. So as you recognize this, she starts to kind of march towards the door as though she's going to grab somebody, and the door flies open, and in steps the most beautiful haired wood elf man you have ever seen in your life.
Orlando Bloom.
Basically.
Beautifuler.
Wow.
My legs are less.
Orlando Bloom is who you decided had the most magical hair. That's hilarious.
That's
I
fair.
love
His
that.
wig
from Lord
makers
of the
would be
Rings.
very
I mean, come
proud.
on, you can't
Yeah.
argue with that, even if
Yeah.
it's a wig or whatever.
Yeah. His hair from Lord of the Rings when he was the elf.
Well, that's fair.
The most beautiful wood elf you've ever seen in your life. Even more beautiful than the last time you had seen him somehow. He has auburn, long, flowing, slightly wavy locks that somehow seem highlighted in a natural sense. And as he walks in, two women fall in line behind him. Two wood elf women fall in line, and they say in harmony, Fabio. And you recognize your cousin Fabio, who now apparently has
This
I was
guy.
hoping it was a long lost gay lover.
No.
That's
no,
okay.
Just my annoying
Don't date
cousin.
your cousin.
Just like, yeah, see?
However, he did roll a nat 2 on a performance check.
Oh, boy.
Which means that as they say, Fabio, as he walks into the room. He takes out of his jacket, because he's wearing like a nice, nobleman's jacket. He takes out of his jacket a canister of live butterflies and he opens it and the butterflies fly up and then fly into his face. And he's like, Fabi, and he shoves it away. And the woman in front of you walks over to him. Fabio, I thought we talked about releasing live animals inside to signify your entrance. It is not proper, especially indoors. He's like, I know this. However, I got rid of the birds. There's no more birds. I changed it to butterflies. I thought it would be better. Now, you're ruining my entrance.
Fabio, you ruined your own entrance, as you typically do.
Alfonso, I see you are unkempt as usual.
Want to take this outside? We'll find out who's unkempt.
Oh, girl.
See, I would love to take this outside, Alfonso, but I am allowed outside. You, however, many of our people believe you to be somewhere else, somewhere in a mountainy environment.
I'm aware.
Yes. Now, you have been gone for so many years, and I, Fabio, have been taking over your duties.
He gets more and more Italian. I'm loving this.
And as he says Fabio, the women behind him are like, Fabio.
There we go. I just
Beautiful, thank you.
Yeah.
And he stands there and he kind of strikes a small pose as though he's not trying, but he's definitely trying. And he's like, so while it's good to have you back, you should know you're no longer welcome here. I am leading the military now.
Alfonso just speechless. He's like devastated learning that information.
No one fights like
If
Fabio.
you didn't want, if I'm not welcome here, then why was I just magically teleported here?
That is a very good question. Gladys, why is he here?
Gladys.
We all know that I, Fabio, has had all of the needs of this kingdom met.
She just threw up in her mouth.
Fabio. And she turns and straightens her shoulders and turns to you and points at your chest. And as she points at your chest, you feel around your neck the emblem that you had from your parents. So when he was 15, his parents, per your previous fun facts, his parents had given him a necklace, a thin rope with pure gold tree pendant that he always wears. And as she points to it, you feel it glow. And she turns to Fabio and says, that pendant that your aunt and uncle have given him protected him from any unwanted transfers and transports from any angels, demons, high gods, any of the things. And so now he has been transported here. I made sure when we found him that he was brought here to the tower of our choosing to hide him away. Do we have any other questions, Your Highness?
I assume that she was talking to, like me, Your Highness? Or was
No,
this?
she is addressing Fabio. Roll a history check. Or actually, yeah, roll a history check.
11, and it was a +2. All these stat checks are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, +3, so 14.
So with a 14, you know that based on the structure of nobility in Aerith, for him to be called Your Highness, he would have had to essentially step into the role that you had left as
so he's now
heir to the throne. Yeah.
What a punk.
Mm-hmm. So,
Punk ass bitch.
Punk.
as
Been punked.
as she says this, you see him preen. Like as almost as if like the words Your Highness kind of fuel his soul somehow.
His ego.
And he says, no further questions from Fabio. And the women behind him are like, Fabio. And
God, this is so dramatic.
he decides, and he kind of like flips his hair really dramatically. And as he walks backwards through the door, says, carry on. And by the way, Alfonso, your hair matches your picture from graduation. and then he disappears and slams the door behind him.
Alfonso definitely took like 1d4 damage from that.
I took that 1d4 damage.
We're gonna take
from
1d4 psychic damage from that. You take 1 damage, yeah.
Oh.
So while we're gonna pause there while Alfonso's absorbing that, and we're going to see where the rest of the party is. We're gonna cut over to the outskirts, this dense wood where Misphi, TJ, Meryl, and Stan.
Stupid.
So you guys have arrived. You were like the wind had rushed around you as Jilroy had left you, had like snapped his fingers, left you from the tower. You all land in a very wooded area. So as you do, everybody roll a perception check, please. And I'm gonna roll one for TJ as well.
No, that's a 5.
23.
16.
So dazed and confused, Meryl really doesn't see anything.
No.
He's still like really shaken from being pushed around so often. Everybody else, though, like as you're looking around, you recognize that these are very, very densely packed woods. The birds are really melodic. It's very alive woods. And standing in front of you, although it's woods that kind of look like everything else, you all except for Meryl see there is no way forward. The trees have essentially grown into almost like a wall protecting something that is just brambles and undergrowth just blocking your path. So what do you do?
Wow, guys, what a day. How'd we get here?
How did we get where? Where? Oh, my God. My head. Oh.
You smell like fish, Meryl. God. Take a
Stan, can you
shower.
just give it a rest for a minute?
Sorry, I know. It's been a long
Guys,
one.
looks like there's this like wall of trees.
Oh, this is a beautiful forest, but there's no way out or in.
We're supposed to be near Alfonso somehow. That was what Jilroy said, that we were gonna go see Alfonso, but I don't know if you guys see. I don't see Alfonso. I see trees.
Yeah, very, very astute, Tej. That's
Thank you.
true.
Thanks, Stan. That's my
Yeah,
best
as
friend,
usual. You know, you're very observant. Give you that.
Meryl, can you fly above and kind of see where we're at? Or is it too thick?
Stan. Do another perception check specifically for
Can I
that.
do a nature
Do a
roll?
nature check. Yeah.
Good old nature checks.
Oh, that's a 14.
14. So you're able to fly up. You see that there are spaces in the branches and the canopy above you for you to be able to fly up and kind of scan. As you fly up above this canopy and you scan, all you see are treetops. And you recognize from your time just being in the air that that's unusual to not see a break in the canopy. It's just not natural to see that. So you can kind of infer that there is something of a magical nature blocking the view from underneath the tree canopy.
Guys, can you hear me down there?
Yes, Meryl.
Kind of.
Okay. It's just trees for like a really long way. Just a lot of trees, which is unusual from my time in the air.
But Meryl, this is a forest. Misphi, can you explain a forest to him? I don't think he understands.
TJ.
They have trees, lots of trees, Meryl.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Stan, you tell me if I was wrong. I know about trees,
Yeah,
right? Some?
no, that was a really good
Yeah.
definition of a forest, Tej.
Thank
I've
you.
got to say.
Lots of trees in a forest.
Well,
Meryl
Meryl, what do you
lands-
mean it's weird?
Meryl lands next to TJ and says, "Stick with pants, TJ."
Yeah, okay. I'm just going to take that as you really love my pants. And you know what? They're making my butt cheeks look amazing right now. So thank you.
They do.
Thank
You know pants and I know plants, so
Yeah, so
Wow.
baby, can you talk to him about plants? Because I'm at a loss. I'm all
Misphi,
pockets
do you
here.
think between the two of us we could maybe investigate this forest a little bit more? Because I'm just getting the sense that there's something magical afoot.
yeah, something unnatural. Let's look around. See if we can find a way in.
So, which direction would you say that you go, or how do you? Oh boy, what did you roll?
Oh, boy.
Dose.
A 2 for a nature check or an investigation check? I'll give you either.
7.
7? Okay. With a 7, you're like, I think that these might be elm trees.
Can I poke it with my stick?
You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna poke it with my stick. See what happens.
As you poke, would you say like the tree in front of you? Like kind of the
Yeah,
the-
just kind of like right out in front of me.
As you poke it with your stick. Poke it with your, I don't really have an artistry way of doing that. As you poke it, you feel a resistance that kind of almost like pushes it back.
Ooh. Wow, that was weird.
Did you hear that? I have very good ears.
You do have very good ears. You compliment my pants, I can compliment your ears,
Thank
Meryl.
you. I don't actually have any visible ears, but the ears that I have are great.
The ear holes are
Okay, well, let's
lustrous.
not talk
They're
about
holy.
it.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't talk about your holes.
Misphi, what's wrong with those trees? Why'd they make that weird rubber sound?
I don't know, guys. I think. Do you think this is Aerith?
Maybe. You think it's in a disguise?
Well, that's where we asked to be dropped off.
Yeah, he did say we were
Yeah.
going to be on the. He said, he did say we were like he couldn't get his in Aerith because of the magic and stuff.
Well, how
Maybe
do we
this
get
is
through?
the magic and stuff. And so TJ just kind of goes up to the tree. Tree. Tree is plural. I don't really know your pronouns. Trees.
Very progressive, TJ.
Trees.
Trees.
Trousers.
Trousers. I know pants. You have beautiful bark pants.
Maybe we can dig under it.
Or fly over it. I could try to fly over it.
Oh, you
going
tried
on
that.
Are you going on a bear hunt? Because you're going to try to go under it?
Do you
Over it.
have
Can't
bears?
go over it.
As like some more, as he kind of calls in,
We have to go through it.
roll a.
We must go through.
Where's my checks at here? Roll a nature check.
All of us?
Yeah.
Well, I got a 2.
Jesus, I got a 7 again.
I got a 10.
You guys aren't
TJ
very
got a
nature.
14. So TJ is kind of the closest to this ward, and he's like, "There's a rumbling. There's a rumbling like in the trees.
There was an actual rumbling.
Oh, did you hear that? Sound effects.
Wow.
There's a rumbling in the trees, guys. I think it's working. Trousers, treesers, Lorax, someone.
Misphi, you think if you hug one of
Windbreaker.
those trees, you'd be able to figure out what's going on with it?
What if we all hugged a tree?
Yes.
Everybody pick a tree and snuggle.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we all.
He goes up to the like a little bit left to her on just one tree,
All
and
right.
just like embraces it.
Meryl picks the biggest tree that he can and tries to wrap both his arms and his wings around it.
As you guys do this, and as
I
like
love
kind
you,
of
tree.
TJ, Stan, do you do the same? Do you try to like hug a tree?
I'm supervising.
Okay, so you're hanging back.
Yep.
TJ also like goes up to hug a tree and kind of wraps one leg around it as well.
Good
to like
form,
There you go,
feel
babe.
almost like
Yep.
he's climbing
Get
it, but
it,
like
girl.
really, really wrapped himself. And as the three do this, you find that from the brambles comes arrowheads that are knocked and aiming at your faces. And you hear, "State your business for the kingdom of Aerith."
We just want to We want to be granted passage so we can go see our friend Alfonso.
Yeah, Alfonzo Windbreaker, he's a guy here, and he doesn't break wind. That's not really his thing, but his name is Alfonzo Windbreaker, and we love him.
And we love trees.
Also trees.
He's very important. to
Yeah,
us.
and we just need safe passage. That's all we ask.
And we would really like to check in and see how he's doing.
Yeah, we're really worried about him.
And you hear the voice kind of murmur with people next to him. And it's all in like, let me see, how many of you guys speak Elven?
I do not.
You're a
I
half
do.
elf.
I do.
Health.
Okay, so Misphi, because it's through the
Elf.
since it's through the woods, I'm gonna have you roll a perception check to see if you can hear this.
20.
20, not nat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a dirty 20.
So,
Dirty 20.
you hear them say, Alfonso isn't here. He hasn't been here for years. What are they talking about? And then you hear another voice say, "They're probably lying. We can't trust outsiders. What are you thinking? We can't let them in." The other one's like, "Well, we have to. We have to know about what's going on with the noblemen and the royalty. Like, this is important. We have to bring them through."
Hey, I can hear you guys.
That's our subtle Misphi.
That was great.
You can definitely trust us. Like, we're worried about our friend. And some big Goliath told us that he was here.
You must be mistaken.
He showed us through his shiny balls.
That he did. That's true. That's true.
And in Elven, they kind of whisper a little bit more. Shiny balls. They're on drugs. There's got to be some mushrooms in the forest that they're consuming. We cannot trust them. We cannot trust outsiders.
We are not on drugs.
And you hear
Roll a persuasion check.
that's what. Yeah, roll a persuasion check. Actually,
We are not on drugs.
So I feel like you have to yell like, "We're not on drugs." That's usually an indicator you might be.
12.
12. And one of them, the one who's like pretty suspicious, is like, that definitely means they're on drugs. You know that means they're on the mushrooms. We've talked about this. We cannot let them in. We cannot trust them. And the other one's like, I'm opening the gate. And as you guys are still hugging these trees, the trees suddenly move with you and like edge around. And like you kind of like ride the trees almost to the side.
Misphi's gonna let go of the tree.
Okay. So as you let go of the tree and kind of TJ unwraps himself, he gets a little bit caught on the bark and kind of has to like, shimmy and pick a wedgie.
Classic.
You guys all see that there is now like a bramble archway almost, and those arrows that were aimed at you, there's still a company of arrows aimed at all of you. And the people who are aiming them at you are wood elves, similar to Alfonso in like the skin tone, shape of the ears, the general features. However, these are clad in very official looking chainmail and armor. They have the crest of Aerith on the front of their shields for the ones who are holding shields and swords, and on their breastplates for the ones who are just holding bow and arrows. And you see them looking very suspicious. And when they clock the diversity among your ranks, their eyes kind of vary from going like very wide and surprised to very narrowed in suspicion. And you see one of the main people steps forward, holding a sword kind of like threateningly, like he's about to pull it out, but he hasn't yet. And he says, I will grant you passage. However, you must speak to no one. You must say nothing until we get you to where you are needing to go.
Is this person still speaking in Elven, or do we understand him now?
He's speaking in Elven because he assumes that Stephie, that you guys can understand him.
Misphi, what's he saying?
Yeah, what did he say?
Why is he holding his sword like that?
As he hears you guys say that, he changes and he says, ugh, commoners.
No, my name is Stan.
I see you speak the common tongue. I will sully myself surely for the benefit of the noble family that you are coming to visit.
Wow.
However, just keep your common mutterings to a minimum, please.
Well,
Don't you worry.
nice
We're
to
the
meet you,
quietest
too.
group of people you ever met.
Clearly. And as
You didn't have to roll to fail that one.
he just rolls his eyes.
That was incredible.
And like turns his back to you like you're not a threat at all, and just starts walking with the assumption you're going to follow him through this mass of trees while all of the other people still have their bows and arrows aimed at you guys. So what do you do?
Okay, so we'll follow him, I guess. I think we should follow him, guys.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think
all
we
right.
should follow that man. We're certainly not going to find Alfonso out here.
Take us to Alfonso, please.
He's just walking.
Okay, goodbye.
He's just
Bye,
he's
girl,
just
bye.
assuming, and
Bye,
then
girl.
like as you guys kind of loiter behind, you feel people start to kind of poke you from behind with their bow and arrow, like
we're going.
like,
we're
hurry
going.
up.
Could you keep those away from Cersei, please?
And she goes, ah, ah. And you hear
Rude.
from in front of you the guy kind of shout back, your squallery bird has no importance here. Keep her on your shoulder or else she will become dinner. Unless you can
How
prove that you have
dare
any
you.
importance to the noble family, which I'm sure you probably don't. So he guides
Well, we
you
don't
through.
care, so.
And so now as you guys are walking through this forest, we're going to cut back to Alfonso. So Alfonso, you're in this room. You have who you now recognize as Gladys,
Gladys.
the elf in front of you. She's speaking to you in Elven. Fabio had just essentially moonwalked backwards out the door.
Fabio.
God, we all hate Fabio.
No, listen, I love Fabio.
Oh no.
I mean, I hate him, but
He's like
I love to hate him. You know,
He's
you love to hate him.
Antithesis of everything Alfonso stands for. Like the over-the-top uppity, the political theatricalness. Alfonso hates everything about him.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, so you're in here. You've discovered where your weapons are, but until Gladys essentially releases the spell that is on the exterior of the walls, you're not able to leave. And you're not able to get your weaponry either.
All right.
So she turns to you and says, as you can see, we've chosen a different path in the name of royalty for the stability of Aerith. You are no longer necessary. You are redundant, so to speak. And
Wow.
especially since you become such a disappointment to the royal nobility of Aerith and the Windbreaker family, we see no need to continue your presence here. Would you prefer that we escort you out in the dead of night, or would you like this to be a public march of shame?
Public, please.
As you say public, she winces a little bit, like she was not expecting you to say that. And she nods and says, very well.
But I want to speak to my parents first.
Roll a persuasion check.
Wait till my father hears about this.
18 plus, I don't remember. Plus 2, so a dirty 20.
Okay. So as you say that, she considers for a moment and she nods and she says, I suppose it's only fair to see their disappointment as well as ours. Very well. I'm sure they'll be with you momentarily. And she waves her hand to dispel the ward, opens and closes the door behind her, and then you feel more than see the ward go back into place. As you sit there, this is, you can't really tell what time of day it is. You just feel like some time possibly has passed. And it's probably a solid hour or so before you hear any sound on the other side of the door.
Mm-hmm.
And as you see this sound, good gravy. As you hear this, the door flies open and your father storms in. And he's as tall as you remember. He hasn't aged a day.
Naturally, of course.
Still looks narrow-eyed and suspicious of everyone, and yet has a very firm jaw as he looks at you and says, Alfonso, welcome home.
Thank you, Father. Although I wish it was under better circumstances.
Understood. Well, it was good to see you. Your mother would like to say a few words. And behind him, a slighter woman with that same, almost kind of like Gladys, where she's still like kind of higher in nobility kind of vibe. But yet she looks at you, and as soon as your father's not looking, she winks a little bit at you and says, son, it is good to see you. Welcome home.
Thank you, Mother.
I trust your journeys have been fruitful.
Mostly.
Wonderful. It is always good to see a son come home to his mother and father and country. Now, as you know, we, your father and I, collectively, for the good of Aerith, have decided to put your cousin, Fabio, in charge, is the rightful heir in your absence. However, your father has decided that if you would like to renounce your travels and take up the mantle of the mission you left behind, that you may once again stand tall as the heir to the Aerith throne. The choice is obviously yours, but I'm sure I know what you will pick. And she smiles demurely. And you see Gladys kind of bristle, like she had no idea that this was a thing, like a possibility. And as she turns to your parents, she bows deeply. Your Highnesses, I have kept your son in the safest of accommodations, away from the public eye.
Is this what you call this? Safe?
Are you injured? Your Highness?
Yes. He is.
Psychologically, yes.
He took 5 points of damage.
Ow!
I feel about 20% hurt.
20%
Forgive me
injured.
for speaking out of turn, Your Highnesses, but if this safe accommodations is all it takes to test the mettle of a windbreaker, I must say that his travels may have done him more harm than good.
Gladys, we've had enough of you.
Damn.
You may leave now, Gladys.
She turns to your parents, almost like seeing if they're going to contradict you. And your mother turns to her, cocks her head to the side, almost to kind of give the impression of like, did he stutter? And Gladys just bows at them, turns to you, nods her head in like kind of a mock bow, and then leaves the room.
Queen.
When she leaves, the only people in the room now are just Alfonso's mother, father, and himself, correct?
Correct.
Alfonso does a light bow and then says, Mother and Father, can we talk candidly about the situation at hand?
I think it would do well to speak candidly. Don't you, husband? I have to find names. Hold, please.
I expected you to say husband Matt.
Yeah,
like
same.
you said
Yeah.
husband, and I was
Husband.
waiting for
I was like, is he here? Is he here?
Because
Where
I'm
is
just,
he?
so used to that coming next.
Husband Matt, we miss you.
And
We
she
do.
turns to your father and he sighs and he's like, Lydia, is this really necessary? And she's like, Elwyn, this is ridiculous. He is our son. He is the heir to the throne. You put your nephew in place of our boy? Have you lost your mind? Elwyn, we've lived many, many years. Why have you
Elwyn.
suddenly changed your whole perspective on the way that things are done in the Windbreaker household? Son, how are you? It is good to see you.
Overall, we're doing pretty good. It's nice to see you as well. Although, again, wish it was a little bit better. But let's go right down to business here.
Of course.
Does the ultimatum still stand?
Well, surely you have to understand. Your father instituted an order. You blatantly disregarded him. You cannot expect for you to be welcomed back with open arms in the court.
Let's talk about that order before we decide what we're doing next here. You wanted me and our military to capture children.
Well, they were not just any children. They were the children of crick elves. They needed to be educated properly, away from those tribal leaders and their
forced
savage ways.
assimilation. You can't do that.
Whoa. He's a history teacher.
Alfonso's not. He's a history aficionado.
Alfonso was like starting to get a little bit heated here that like the fact that he was tasked with doing this horrid mission is still like looming over him.
Darling, I think it's fair to say that it is okay for you at times to disagree with your father's orders. That is fair. You are entitled to your opinion. However, an order is an order. And besides, all of this is silly. You cannot allow this simple task to be what breaks you from
It
your
was not
family
as-
and your lineage.
I'm sorry, but we're not going to just destroy they're not like a race, are they?
No, they're like a people,
Tribe.
a demographic.
Yeah,
Cultural
tribe.
tradition.
Yeah,
A cultural
we're not going to
tradition.
destroy their cultural traditions.
Culture destroy. Honestly, Alfonso, it's as if you've decided that you've become one of those hippie half-elves. Honestly, it's almost as if you really believe that their culture has merit. They
my
need
God.
to
It
have.
does. They can raise their children
Glad
how they
Misphi's
like.
not here.
Ooh, colonization. Ooh.
Yeah.
Lucy yelled to me in
Son.
the room. She said, no colonization.
Right.
No. Our
Alfonso
cat.
is an anti-colonizer.
Son,
As is our cat.
you were raised in the Windbreaker estates, in the noble household. You received the best of
And
educations.
that doesn't justify this poor treatment of these people.
You don't want them to have the same opportunities that were afforded as you? You would deny them the opportunity of education,
They get
of
to make that
self-defense.
choice. They can make that choice.
Honestly, boys, this isn't necessary to argue about this. Why don't we table this conversation and let our boy out of this room? They've got stone floors. It's like we're peasants. I feel positively grimy standing in these accommodations. And son, your hair.
I know it. I could use a good shower.
Oh, it's
It's been a-
mildly out of place. That's simply unacceptable.
Amen.
Alfonso does feel for that.
Elwyn, please let us out of this horrible ramshackle accommodations. And besides, those people are here. We've heard them at the gates. There's somebody here for him. We cannot let that spread through the entire
My
kingdom
friends
of
have
Aerith.
come.
Friends? I'm sorry, what? Darling, there
There's
were outsiders from...
Four
outs-
other adventurers: a half elf, a human, an Arakakra, and a halfling.
To be honest, darling, I'm not sure. I just know that they're outsiders.
Yeah,
Elwyn,
they're good people.
please.
They're everyday heroes. It's fine.
Aw.
Elwyn sighs and pinches the bridge of his nose and is like, you cannot, under any circumstances, converse with outsiders in front of the court. You know what would happen to our standing, which is at this moment shaky at best, which you would know if you had been here the last 2 years. Instead, your cousin, you will not speak to your king in such a tone.
Yeah, but his name's Elwyn. You know, like, oh, he's a king, but come on, Elwyn.
Alfonso doesn't say anything, but his face has definitely got a very, like, determined, like, squinty-eyed, like, I'll obey right now, but don't keep pushing me kind of thing.
We will bring you to your quarters, because that is what is expected of a noble or royal. We will not treat you with any disrespect that is not befitting your station. However, do not expect until you are able to comply with my orders and issue a public apology to the soldiers that you had persuaded to disobey their king, that you are sorry. You are going there now. We may, under supervision, allow these outsiders to come speak with you, if for no other reason than to get them away from the rest of Aerith's people. We cannot allow anybody to know that you were not on a diplomatic mission. It would compromise everything. Everything, Alfonso.
Let's make a deal.
A deal with your king.
Yes, father.
Well, darling, you're simply negotiating with a future king. Honey, see, he's already taking up the mantle of the heir to the throne. Simply humor him, darling. Please.
Thank you, mother.
You're welcome. Now, quickly, make the deal before he changes his mind.
If you would allow me to have my weapons back, I'll make a public statement, not acknowledging, I will acknowledge that it was a failed diplomatic mission, but I will not apologize for taking my stance.
If we allow you to have your weapons back, you will say that the mission was a success, that you had successfully had a good conversation with the king of the dwarves in the high Garum Mountains. You will say that during your mission, you were able to secure the Windbreaker family's alliance with them. And you will say that that mission has proven that not only is the Windbreaker family exclusively friends with the high Garum Mountain King, but you will also say that no other leaders will be as respected as the Windbreakers to such alliances. Do you understand?
I have one more request.
Do you have any idea how hard
You leave the
things
Crick
have
Elves
been?
alone, and I'll agree.
You want me
Yes.
to leave the Crick Elves alone?
Yes. Let them be. Let them do their thing, and I'll agree to everything else that you asked. I want your word that you'll do that, and then I'll agree. I'll make my public statement, and then I'll move on to my adventuring, and you can give Fabio the throne.
We will not interact with any of the Crick Elves
Negatively.
at all. We won't speak with them, talk with them, spend time with them. We will not interact with any Crick Elves in the next 100 years. Sound
Deal.
fair?
Deal.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Alfonso 2028, you guys, honestly.
Roll an insight check.
I know he's lying. 12.
Never trust a man named Elwyn.
That's what they say famously.
Insight. Let's do 14.
With your knowledge of the way that the political world works in the royals and the court, you know that he's telling the truth because he would never outright lie about a deal. But the way that he is wording this, especially in Elvish, is very precarious. You know that to the letter he will obey his word, but that does not mean that outside the letter he will not finagle
Like, he'll
things.
find some loopholes.
Mm-hmm,
Like, and
exactly.
I know that.
Yeah. So he nods curtly, almost feeling like he's won a little bit. And your mother simply claps her hands twice, and you see the door open from the outside. She kind of waves her hand. The ward around you has been diminished. You can now grab your weapons and follow them out.
I very sternly yet happily inside, because I'm not going to express that kind of emotion in front of my parents like that. Go grab I sheathe my swords, put my bow on my back and my quiver, and then take a full confident stride out the door.
Okay. So we're going to switch over to you guys. The three of you guys with TJ are being escorted through the forest. And you see that this forest that you guys have been walking for quite a bit. None of them are speaking to you. None of them are speaking to each other. They just seem to know inherently where they're going. And as you guys are walking through this forest, it opens up pretty immediately, almost like a sheer drop off of the trees. And you see in front of you the most beautiful oasis almost that you have ever seen in your life. It is like grassy and there's like a small lake and the sun shining off of it. And you have you can tell definitely that the canopy of trees that you had seen was an illusion. There's just bright open sky here. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can feel like in the air that there's some magic at work in terms of like the nurturing kind of magic to make sure that this is like a beautiful sanctuary for elves. But this is just a stunning place. The paths that they are walking down are not stone or dirt. They're just like light moss. And so Stan, as you're walking on this, is almost like walking on a pillow with your bare feet.
I've got to say, it's really great, you guys. You should try it.
Misphi takes off her shoes.
See, what do you think?
I don't wear shoes either.
The world is so much better when you experience it feet first.
The guys that
down on a
the men
t-shirt.
and
I was gonna
women
say that's quote worthy right there.
Yeah, the men and women who like have their swords kind of like in their hand and like their hands on their bows look at you guys as you're taking off your feet, and some of them look completely disgusted, and some of them look a little bit intrigued, like you guys are like specimens in a zoo, like they're just so confused.
I get that look a lot.
Like you do. Yeah, Stan. Yeah.
And
What?
Me too,
We're
actually, as a
enjoying
matter
nature.
of fact.
and as you guys
This
continue
place is
walking,
beautiful.
you see in the distance, you see a castle. This castle is not like maybe castles that you guys have read about in the storybooks as children. Meryl, in your travels, this isn't like any of those larger noble places that maybe you guys have performed at. This is one that's made, in the light, it's pretty light colored, so you think it's almost sand, but as you guys slowly get closer, you recognize that this is actually tree that has been sung and carved into an elaborate castle.
Wow.
Somewhere in the middle of this very woodland, fairy-like essence of a world.
Wow.
I wonder how old that tree is.
One of the guards straightens up as though like he almost said something, but then he doesn't, and he looks at you, and he kind of shakes his head.
You
Like,
something to say?
She's like, what you gotta say?
You got something to say, Paul? No, she doesn't say that.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't really know what he would say to that.
Roll initiative.
Right?
That would be the
Meryl is like literally beak agape, speechless. Like this is the most beautiful thing he's ever seen, and he's never speechless. Like he cannot even, especially after everything that just happened to all of us. Like he is like, what is this place?
Meryl, you better close your mouth. You're gonna get bugs in it.
The man in the front who's guiding you stops pretty suddenly as the castle comes closer into sight, and he spins and glares at all of you.
Misphi runs into him. Because she's just looking around.
As you run into him, it's like running into a boulder. It's like you bounce off,
God,
and you're just like, ah! And he's
sorry.
like,
Sorry. I was just admiring the view. Sorry.
this view is not necessary for a half elf as yourself.
She licks his no, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, Stephie!
Misphi backs up, gives him some space.
TJ like shuffles you behind him and says, "This is my woman. Any concerns, sir?"
It's okay, TJ. I kind of pet his head a little bit.
He kind of kicks his leg a little bit like a dog.
I love TJ.
It's okay. It's okay. It was my bad. My bad, TJ.
And the man looks at all of you and it says, "We are about to enter the castle. We are going through an underground entrance. However, the staff talk. You will not say anything until permitted to do so. You will not speak unless I speak to you. Not if anybody speaks to you unless I speak to you. Is that clear?
Stan raises his hand.
Why are you what is this?
I have a question, but I wanted to make sure it was okay. Can I
Why do
ask-
you put your hand up
Well,
into the air for the question?
Right. Well, because then you could call on me and say, "Small man Stan, what do you have to say? Do you want to try? I could do it again."
I don't know your name.
Great.
And he turns to one of the
Do you want
other. Do we have a cultural ambassador? I don't understand these peasants.
Anyway, I'm just going to ask. This sort of looks like one of those establishments where like shirts and shoes are required, but I don't have shoes. Can I still come in?
Yeah, and I left my shoes back there.
You like took them off and then just kept walking. You didn't like, put them in your bag.
She doesn't even bring them with her.
I never wear shoes.
His eyes just grow like to the size of $50 as he looks down at everybody's feet. And he's like,
Oh, does he notice Stan's sixth toe? He's
oh my
gotta
God,
notice.
he's got, here, let me roll it
Stan
in.
wiggles it a little bit.
Yeah, he just notices the dirt. He doesn't really see the extra toe
It
yet.
just looks like a clump of dirt.
He's just so disgusted, and he's like, where we're going, shoes aren't required.
Oh,
We
thank
usually
God.
strip people of shoes anyway. However,
Oh, wow.
please don't rub your feet on anything.
Huh.
Stan writes down, shoes not required.
That is good news. I'll do my best not to rub my feet, but you know.
Does anybody else require their hands to be higher than their heads?
Nope, no, I'm good.
Wow. Well, we
Wonderful.
all learned something today. You're welcome. We're ready.
Right.
Man, you guys don't know how to take a joke, do you?
Yeah,
And he
they're no
turns
fun.
to
They're no
to
fun.
one of the other elves and he says, "Tell the cultural ambassador the hand raised above the head is a joke." And tell him to hurry because I am not paid enough for this.
Amen.
And he
No
he
sense
says that
of
in
humor.
Elvish, by the way, so only Misphi hears it. And and so he turns abruptly again and leads you guys around this castle. So everybody roll a perception check.
Wow.
22.
15.
You're very
7.
no. I was like, you're all very perceptive. But
Yeah,
Meryl's-
then Meryl usually comes
So-
in and ruins that.
No,
Like, oh, wait.
I'm not with you, sadly. Yet.
Meryl is asleep today.
Once again,
Meryl's beak is just still
Meryl is
open.
so enthralled with what's
Yeah,
happening
honestly.
around him that he has no idea anything. And the rest of you guys realize as you guys are walking that there are absolutely no people anywhere. Like you see no one on the streets except for these. Like you just hear the sounds of the footsteps of the clanging metal of the armed people who are escorting you to this passage that you see coming up. That there is no one. You don't see anybody around. And TJ kind of looks around and he's like, "Are we still in the tower? Because I feel like there would be people here. Is it me?"
Are your eyes closed, Teach?
He squeezes them and then blinks a couple times. I don't know. Are they?
Nope, they're open. You're right. I don't see anyone either. I just wanted to check.
Oh, good. You never know some days, you know?
Stan, you didn't raise your hand.
I didn't have a question this time.
No.
Teach doesn't require a hand raise. We're best friends.
Wasn't a joke. Yeah.
We're best
It wasn't a
friends.
joke.
And so as you guys get closer, you see this tunnel gets darker. So this area, as you guys walk in, is completely dark.
Ow! Meryl runs into the wall because his beak is still open.
I've got to say, guys, I've had enough darkness for one day. I don't know if I can do this. Meryl, I'm going to hold onto your wing and you're going to lead, all right?
Just don't
So-
pull too hard, please.
Misphi is able to see because Misphi has dark vision.
Plucks a feather.
Misphi
Stan!
starts to grab the others with her. I'm like, hold hands, guys, hold hands.
Okay, okay,
TJ
okay,
grips
okay.
your hand.
Let go of my wing, Stan.
I will not. She just said to hold
Okay.
hands.
Hands!
Hold
Here's
hands.
my hand.
Somebody pour him with pants,
Pants
train.
train.
Pants train.
Pants train.
Toot, toot.
Pants train.
Pants train. Somebody grab my butt.
I gotcha.
Me too. I got the other cheek.
Hot
Whose butt am
stuff,
I
babe.
grabbing?
You
And
can
he-
grab mine, Meryl.
That's way down. Okay. Meryl is stooped over to grab Stan's pants.
Perfect.
That immediately puts your beak like right next to Stan's ear so he can just hear you go.
It's like wheezing over here. Like,
Meryl, stop
So, like-
breathing.
so Meryl also has pneumonia?
Yeah.
Correct.
Canonically, Meryl has pneumonia.
And you guys travel like this for probably a solid like 10 minutes in complete darkness with only Misphi really being able to see because they've lit no torches until suddenly a door, like a double door pops open very quickly. But you guys are still walking so much. It takes a full minute to realize that there is people looking at you. And in the full light of this room, they see Meryl grabbing onto the back of Stan's pants, completely doubled over as he breathes heavily into his ear. Misphi kind of grabbing TJ's apparently butt. It looks like she's grabbing his butt. TJ's kind of got a wing and a pants, and there's just a lot of connection going here.
Beautiful.
And they're looking at you guys of all different heights and races and just completely flabbergasted. Like, this is what we've been walking next to this whole time. We can't believe this. So as you guys go into this room, the light opens up. You guys can release each other if you want. TJ doesn't, but you can.
I definitely let go of TJ's butt. It was warm, but it's starting to feel weird.
Okay, fair.
Misphi lets go just so she has both hands for anything that comes at her.
And Meryl, you must let go. Your beak better get away from my ear in the next 5 seconds or I'm going to freak out.
Meryl let go a long time ago.
Great.
So as you guys look into this room, you see a tall wood elf. He's not older, but he seems like a little bit more haggard than some of the other elves that you've seen. Like he's seen more of the world. And he's got like auburn hair, but instead of the other elves that have them like had their hair like kind of more loose, his is braided pretty close to his head and kind of tucked into like a low man bun almost. And he stands with his arms behind his back and says, "Report." And the guy who had been leading this whole situation says, "Forgive me, Chief of Staff, but these outsiders claim to know," and he looks around. He says, "the heir to the throne, Alfonzo Windbreaker. We've assured them that that is impossible as he is, obviously in the High Garrow Mountains. But there's rumblings and questions." And the guy in front of you kind of waves his hand dismissively and says, "Leave us, I'll deal with it." And the guy kind of looks at him questioningly, and you see kind of almost like a battle of wills and curiosity. And then the guy who's standing in front again says, "Leave it, I'll deal with it." And the other one just bows a little bit, and all of the men usher out. And you are alone with this guy. And as soon as you notice that the doors close, he eyeballs all of you, and then he relaxes. Like his shoulders kind of slump, and he's like, "Oh, thank God. I thought he was dead. Who are you?" "Well, speak. Literally anybody." "Why is your hand above your head?"
We were told not to speak, so now we're just really confused.
Have you not spoken with the cultural advisor yet? He was supposed to be here minutes ago. Goodness.
Cultural
It means
advisor?
she has a question. We've already gone over this.
And it's a joke as well, so.
What? You were told not to speak? God, Jeffrey is such a jerk.
He seemed like it.
Yeah, we
what
didn't
a
really
dick.
like that.
Oh, Jeffrey.
Misphi lowers her hand.
Oh,
Oh, we can speak now.
Yes, speak. For God's sake, what is going on with Alfonso?
Well, that's what we're wondering. We're his friends. We've been on a quest together for quite some time, and we came here to help him because we were told he was in peril.
So he's back here.
He must be, or we wouldn't have been sent here.
Sent here. Who sent you here?
Oh, the
A
large
large
man
man
with
named
shiny
Jilroy.
balls.
Yep, shiny balls. You know him?
Big
Do
guy.
I know a large man with shiny balls? We're not here to talk about my life. We are here to talk about
Well,
my cousin, Alfonso.
I'd be
What has
interested at some
happened
point.
to him? If you're saying he's
You're
here,
his
then
cousin?
he is in danger. I'm his cousin. I'm Siren. I'm also the chief of staff for his father.
I'm sure he must be here somewhere. If he came back, who would he talk to first? Maybe that's where we should go.
Well, the struggle is, look, and he kind of looks around and There's like 3 throne chairs up behind him that are like very ornately decorated. It's very pompous and kind of over the top. And he just kind of rolls his eyes and turns away from that and finds like some chairs that are obviously given to like members of the court who are older. He just like throws himself into it and kind of plops himself up. He's like, look, you guys are going to have to understand some of the things that are going on around here in order for you to survive these next few, however long you guys are here. Capiche?
Great. Lay it on us.
All right.
Great, grand, wonderful.
Yeah, let's do it.
First of all, what do you know about Alfonso's role here?
Well, we know he's a royal.
And he's got great hair.
Yeah, really wonderful.
His hair is very notable.
He always says something about being noble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, noble. No, he's not noble. He is the heir to the Aerith throne. He is the future king of our country.
Wow.
Oh my God.
No wonder he always acts like he's big stuff.
Yeah.
He is the biggest stuff.
Don't pee on him.
Oh, he really doesn't
What?
like being peed on. We know that.
God,
Is that
things
a
make so
secret?
much more sense now. No wonder he didn't like when she peed on him.
Yeah.
Somebody,
So
she,
disrespectful.
you cannot say that here. Do you have any idea what would happen to the future of our kingdom if it was discovered that the actual heir to the throne was urinated on by a female?
Siren,
That
it's
he
okay.
doesn't. That's probably
it's
not
okay.
a wood
It's
elf.
just a joke. It's just a joke.
Yeah, sorry.
Yep, just a joke.
Why is your
Meryl
hand
raises-
above your head? What is with the elevation of your appendages? And what is you have wings? Why is your hand above your wings?
He's a bird. It's okay.
I'm not a bird.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
I get a lot of things wrong about Meryl a lot. She's really misunderstood. You have to understand.
She
I'm her
is.
bodyguard. My name's Stan. I don't wear shoes. So anyway, about our friend, where is he?
Well, chances are, if I don't know where he is, it's very possible that he was taken by one of the other members of court. So we're going to have to play this very delicately. So
What do you mean taken?
taken? Oh boy.
We're not good at
I thought he was the heir to the throne. How could someone take him if we're not even allowed to talk about him being peed on? Well, I think it's a valid question.
It is. It is. If I was peed on, I'd tell everyone. I'd want everyone to know what I'd been through.
That is
but-
now one of Alfonso's like deepest, darkest secrets that he
And we're
doesn't
spreading it
want
around the
anyone to know.
kingdom. His future kingdom.
Siren looks over at Misphi. He says, in Elven, he's like, I was speaking in the common tongue, was I not? Did I
Yeah.
have my languages wrong?
She speaks in Elven. Yes.
He-
You're good.
He did not seem to understand
You're
what
good.
taken meant. I thought I was being very clear. Was I wrong?
No. He didn't understand.
Okay,
What
can you
taken
please
is.
explain what taken is? I seem like I have a language barrier here.
What are you
Please
guys
tell
saying?
him that Alfonso was probably taken by a member of the royal court. Can you translate or something? I don't seem to be getting across quite well.
I don't understand either, man. I'm just as confused as you are.
Oh,
Stan.
So he turns back to you guys, and in the common tongue, he says, very slowly, like he's talking to children, there are 4 small divisions in our country outside of the castle district. You're in the castle district.
Explains the castle.
Yeah.
And he looks at all of you very slowly and he says, where are we?
The
Castle
castle
District.
Wow.
He breathes such a sigh of relief that he's like somewhat like getting through.
I've got to say, I mean, to be fair, how were we supposed to know that? I guess I could have rolled a perception check.
This is the first time we've been here.
I hope we get a prize every time we answer a question.
Yeah, can I have a piece of jerky?
From his pocket, he pulls out like a little pouch and he opens it up and he chucks a little lump of something brown at your face. And he says, good job.
I catch it right with my mouth. I hope it's edible.
Cersei, catch it. Cersei.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
I got an 18.
Okay, you feel nothing.
Strong stomach.
It tastes very woodsy.
Great. I think it was a piece of a tree, but you know what? Maybe it's a delicacy here.
And so he says, we're in the castle district.
Yes.
That's where the king and the queen reside. That's where Alfonso should be if he's not, off doing whatever Alfonsos do. So there are members of the court. That means that there are people who are friends with the king and queen who also want to kill the king and queen. Courts are weird. Those 4 are the districts of the garden, the glade, the gorge, and the glen. They call themselves the 4Gs. If you see anybody around, you've got to be careful because there are servants of the court of the 4Gs known as the network.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not into 4G.
The 4G network, shut up!
If you say anything too closely, the 4G network will pick it up.
Oh, true.
It travels fast on the 4G network.
And that's
What a
2025. Yeah, that's 2025, folks.
Wow.
However, when you see Alfonso, because he looks around, the last time I may be able to speak in private, you need to warn him that there are people trying to get the castle district changed. He needs to know, and I don't even know if the king and queen know to be able to tell him, but he needs to be aware. So can I trust you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Roll a persuasion check.
Meryl steps forward
Ooh, boy.
and places a hand over his heart as he does this.
That's not good.
Nope, here either.
I got
All right,
that
Meryl, it's up to
one.
you.
I got a 5.
17.
Oh, thank God for you.
What did Stephie get?
I got a 1.
Oh, Jesus.
nat one.
Yep.
They don't trust you.
Yeah, TJ got a persuasion, got a 9. So you said you got a 17?
Yes, and I spread my wings as I do so it covers everyone else up.
Yeah.
And I look like really, really majestical.
He looks and he looks at the half elf that he had been kind of talking to, and as she had said, like, I don't get it either, he was like, God, I can't trust anybody. And he looks over at you, Meryl, and he pulls you a bit to the side and kind of side eyes everybody else, and he turns his body away from them and says, they're trying. You have to tell him this. Don't talk to the other people. Just very direct, okay?
Sure, guys.
Just talk.
Just give us a moment. We're, having an adult conversation.
TJ's like,
La,
have,
la, la,
have
la.
fun. We're going to be over here talking pants.
Yep.
And so Saren brings you over and he says, you need to understand they're trying to change the castle district. They're trying to make it the grand. They're trying to make it the 5th G in the network.
Like a G6.
And that's where we're going to end today's episode.
Whoa.
A conspiracy is afoot.
5 G's.
So that's the end of our episode, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful time as much as we had in making it. So, a couple end of the episode plugs. Buy my book. If you guys like the adventuring and the parties and all that stuff, definitely pick up The Archivist Apprentice, available on Amazon. If you want to hear some really awesome music for your D&D, tunes for your D&D session, definitely check out Husband Matt's album in the link below. It has some of the same music that's playing in the background right now. It's very, very worldly and wonderful. And then, Kailyn, can you hit us with our social media plugs?
Yes, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Mystical Everyday Heroes for some bonus content and episode teasers and reminders of when all of our new fun stuff will be coming out. So check us out, give us a follow over there.
All right, ladies, we really need to practice this. So remember, whenever I have to enter the room first, and then I introduce myself, because everyone should know who I am, but we cannot blame the slower ones who are not able to recognize greatness. And then you repeat it in a melodic tone. Are we ready? Mm-hmm. Great. Hello, it's me. No, that's not what I said. That's not. All right. One more time. All right. Remember, melodic, harmonious, beautiful, just like I do. Okay. Hello, it's Fabio. God, no, tone it.
I just can't get it.
It's going to mesh with the birds I release. You have to understand that the birds will also probably sing the songs of my greatness. All right, Fabio, patience. Fabio, patience. So, one more time. Hello, it's
Oh my God. It was the amount of phlegm in the last one.
That was amazing.
and then a bird flies across his face. Oh,
Alfonso was just relieved that, oh God, glad that ended.